They said the world could not be conquered, that no man could tame the steppe, that no bloodline could rise from nothing to rule the earth. They were wrong. I was born in a tent. My father was murdered. My tribe abandoned me. I ate wild roots to survive, and buried my own brother with blood on my hands. But I am not just a man. I am a storm. I am vengeance. I am the answer sent by the eternal blue sky. And they will know my name. Genghis Khan. Segment 1. Wolves and Dust. Close your eyes. Wear headphones. This is not a story. This is a memory, buried beneath frost and blood. There are no kings here, no thrones, no gods, only wind, dust, and wolves. I was born with the bite of winter on my skin, born into a land that does not punish weakness. It erases it. You don't survive here by being strong. You survive by being inevitable. They called me Temujin, son of a chieftain, hunter's blood in my veins. But the world did not welcome me. It spat me out, chewed up my name and fed it to the wolves. I remember the sound of my own hunger, like a voice scratching inside my ribs. I remember the wind whispering stories of men who rose, and men who vanished into the snow. They thought I would vanish. They were wrong. You can kill a man, but you cannot kill his fire. If you're enjoying this so far, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I drop deep content like this every week, and trust me, it only gets better from here. Segment 2. Father's death. The poisoning. My father was a warlord, not a king, not a noble. A man the river tribes feared like winter itself. He forged alliances not with promises, but with pressure. He took what he wanted and gave nothing back. When I was born, he named me Temujin, after a warrior he'd killed with his bare hands. I wore that name like a shadow. One night, he rode west to speak with the Tatars. They greeted him with open hands and teeth behind their smiles. A peace fire was lit, meat was shared, cups were passed, and inside one cup was death. He came back pale, hands shaking, eyes sunken. He barely spoke. I remember watching him ride. Each step of the horse looked heavier than the last. And when he reached our camp, he didn't dismount. He just fell, like a broken tree. He didn't call for me, didn't whisper my name, just silence. Then the flies came. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just stared at the blood rising behind his eyes. A storm trapped in bone. And in that moment, the boy inside me began to rot. Segment 3. Exile. The Hunger Years. When my father died, we became prey. Our own tribe, men who had once sworn loyalty to his fire, turned their backs on us. There was no burial, no songs, just silence and distance. They cast us out like spoiled meat. My mother, my brothers, my little sister, and me. No fire, no food, no allies. Just the steppe and the cold. We dug in the dirt for roots. Crushed bones with rocks to suck out whatever marrow was left. I once chewed leather for 2 days, just to trick my stomach into silence. One night, we found a mouse. Skinny, weak, barely alive. My mother tore it apart with her teeth, spat the meat into her hands, and fed it to us piece by piece. Like a wolf feeds her pups. Her hands were cracked. Her lips bled every time she smiled. But her voice never wavered. She said, "You will not die here. One day, they will speak your name in fear." I didn't believe her, but I never forgot it. Quick pause before we get into the next chapter. If you're still watching, you're clearly built different. Tap that sub button and let's keep building. Segment 4. Bector's Betrayal. The First Kill. Hunger doesn't just eat your body. It eats the space between people. And when it finishes with the body, it goes for the blood. My older brother, Bector, he was supposed to lead us, to protect us. But the colder it got, the more he began to change. He'd leave before sunrise, return after sunset. And somehow, he was never starving. One night, I followed him. He didn't see me. He knelt behind a broken hillstone, opened a pouch stitched tight with bone thread. Inside, dried meat. Dried berries, fat, enough to feed us all for days. He turned slowly, looked right at me. Didn't even flinch, just smiled. "I am the man now," he said. "You're still just a hungry pup. Time slows." I didn't speak. I didn't argue. I just looked at the meat. Then I looked at his throat. And I waited. Silent. Then a deep breath. Then the strike. That night while he slept, I took my father's old arrowhead, wrapped in cloth so it made no sound. I crept through the black, listened to him snore, and then I drove it into his chest. Then silence. He tried to speak, to beg, to call my name, but I said nothing. I dragged his body to the edge of the steppe, left him there for the crows, and when the wind howled that night, I howled with it. I didn't cry. I didn't flinch, because in that moment, I learned something. You do not inherit power. You take it. Quick pause before we get into the next chapter. If you're still watching, you're clearly built different. Tap that sub button and let's keep building. Segment 5. Enslavement. The Collar and the Storm. They caught me near the river bend. I'd gone too far, chasing a rabbit with my last arrow. The Taichiud, enemies of my father. They knew my face. They knew my blood. So they didn't kill me. They collared me, not with iron, but with wood. A heavy yoke, carved to dig into my shoulders, too wide to sleep in, too stiff to rest in. They marched me through camp like an animal. Children laughed, dogs snarled. One woman spat at me. "Son of nothing," they said. "Look what the wolves dragged in." Every day I stood in the dirt, neck chained, skin cracking under the sun. Every night I laid on my side, because the collar would choke me if I tried to sleep face up. I listened. I memorized the guard shifts. Who drank first, who complained, who hated their chief. And I waited, because I was not broken. I was storing hate, storing fire, storing the part of me that was sharpening. In silence. Then one night, the sky opened. Rain slammed the earth. Lightning cut the sky in half. Everyone ran for shelter. And I ran for freedom. I slammed the yoke against a wagon post. Again and again. Until it split. I threw the collar to the dirt like it was a dead man's name. And vanished into the black. I was no longer a boy. I was something else. Something the wind carried behind it like smoke and warning. And the wind whispered to them, "He is coming." Segment 6. Rebuilding the first blood ports. I wandered the steppe alone for weeks. No tribe, no fire, no name worth speaking. But the wind doesn't forget blood. And some men still remembered my father's fire. Old warriors, hunters, outcasts with scars deeper than memory. I found them one by one. Didn't ask for loyalty. Didn't beg. I hunted for them. Fought beside them. Took wounds without complaint. And slowly, they followed. Not because I made promises, but because I moved like a man, with nothing left to lose. One night, we bled together in a raid. Another tribe had taken too many horses, left too few warriors behind. We struck before dawn, and fast. Silent, precise. When it was done, we sat around the fire, each of us with blood on our hands. I looked at them, and they looked back with something new in their eyes. Respect. I stood, held out a blade. One by one, they cut their palms, pressed them to mine, and I said, "You are not following a chief. You are walking beside a storm." That night we became something more than men. We became Anda, brothers by blood, bound not by name, but by blade. As I grew, so did my hunger. Not just for meat, not just for fire, but for something else. Legacy. The steppe had taught me everything it knew. That thrones are made from fear. That loyalty is carved, not gifted. That mercy is a story men tell before they bleed. I learned how to feed men, how to protect them, how to punish them when they forgot their place. And in that, I learned how to control them. I didn't want my tribe back. I wanted every tribe, every horse, every spear, every name to kneel. And if they would not kneel, then I would teach them what it means to be conquered. They say now that I would father so many children, that one day my blood would stretch across continents. They laugh when they say it. But even in your world, 1 in every 200 men still carries my blood. I was no longer the boy starving in the dirt, no longer the slave, no longer the shadow of my father. I had men, I had horses, I had weapons, and above all, I had clarity. The wind still remembers. The wolves still howl when they feel my name. I was born Temujin, but the world will remember me as Genghis Khan. Segment 6. The world at his feet. The war drums no longer rattle in my chest like they once did, but the silence now. That is mine. I earned it. I sit beneath a roof of black felt in the heart of my empire. Maps stretch before me, soaked in blood, burned at the edges, marked with the names of fallen kings. Cities I have never seen, yet own. Languages I do not speak, yet command. Once, I rode with nothing but hunger in my gut and rage in my blood. Now, I raise my hand, and 1,000 arrows take flight. I point east, and steel devours the sun. I whisper west, and kingdoms collapse before the word can echo. My sons come to me with updates. The Khwarezmian Shah has fallen. The Song dynasty resists, but barely breathes. The Silk Road is ours. Good. The traders now ride beneath my sky. The horses now drink from my rivers, and the laws they obey, they are mine. I have watched cities burn, not out of cruelty, but to remind the world, submit or vanish. I gave every ruler a choice. Some kneeled, others screamed. Their bones now salt the earth. My enemies called me a barbarian, a savage, a demon on horseback. Let them. For every one of their insults, I carved a kingdom from their borders. They laughed at the horsemen of the steppe, until the horsemen knocked at their palace gates. I did not just build an army, I built a system. Messengers ride from the Yellow Sea to the Caspian in a matter of days. Roads stretch where wilderness once ruled. I gave order to chaos. The people eat because I said they can. They worship because I allowed them to. And they fear because I taught them how. But it is not enough. The hunger still lingers. Quieter now, but sharp. The South calls to me. India, the Islamic heartlands, even the lands beyond the Great Mountains. I send my generals there now. Subutai, Jebe, men who carry my fury like a torch. And behind them ride sons, not born of blood, but of conquest. Every captured prince becomes a lesson. Every shattered city becomes a whisper in the wind. The Khan is coming. I dream sometimes of fire, not the fire of war, but the fire of legacy. Will they remember me as a butcher, or as the man who turned the steppe into a throne? No matter. History bends to those who write it in steel. I have no crown. I need no throne of gold. The world itself is my inheritance, and I, Genghis Khan, am its rightful heir. Let them call me monster. Let them curse my name in broken tongues. Let them fear me, because they should. I am not done yet. Segment 7. The final flame. They say every fire must one day fade, but I am not a fire. I am the wind that feeds it. I feel it now. The weight in my chest, the ache in my bones, the silence that follows even victory. Not fear, not regret, just stillness. I have taken the east, the west, the north, the rivers of China, the deserts of Persia, the mountains of the Caucasus. I have carved my name into the earth until the earth bled. They will tell stories of my rise, but they will never understand the cost. I lost my brothers, my friends, my wife, even my own sons, not by sword, but by distance, by duty. No man rules the world without sacrificing his own. They say I fathered many sons, that my blood now flows through millions. Good. Let my face haunt their dreams. Let my fire sleep in their veins. The empire will stretch beyond what I can see. And still, I want more. I think now of the day I die. How will they speak of it? Will they say the great Khan fell in battle? Or that he vanished into the mountains like a ghost? that a lightning bolt split the sky, and his soul rode with it? They'll never know. Because my men buried me in secret, they killed every man who saw the procession. The rivers were turned to hide the path, and the horses trampled the earth flat, so not even the gods could find my grave. Let them search. What matters is not the tomb. What matters is the fear I carved into the bones of nations, the discipline I left in the blood of armies, the law I placed in the hands of chaos. I began as a boy, hunted by wolves. Now I am the wolf. I was born with nothing, not even a name. Now they name centuries after me. I am not a king, not a prophet, not a god. I am something older. I am the storm they thought would pass, but I did not pass. I became the sky. So, if you feel the wind, if you hear a gallop in the dark, if your empire begins to tremble and you do not know why, remember me. I am Genghis Khan, and my fire never died.